This hangout is live. All right. So my clock says 8 o'clock. Alan, what's your clock say?
8 o'clock on the nose.
All right, eight ish. Okay. All right. So we can't tell time or something. Maybe it's Oregon time. All right. Okay. So no matter how much you plan and practice and kind of do whatever, sometimes you just kind of get bit by the old computer bug. Uh, Google Plus, YouTube, whatever. Okay, so I missed my intro. Hello, friends. All right, got that in there. Okay, so Happy New Year, and it's Rides Done Right, and this is our little intro. So, first show, we are running late. We missed the grand intro for 8, so anybody who was out there actually looking for us looked and said, well, I guess Rides Done Right really didn't happen, or maybe we were hungover. No, that didn't happen. We were like here, just kind of things happen. So I guess enough with the whole we ran into a glitch and we were late deal. So let's see if we can kind of get this on the right track and get going, and hopefully next week we'll get back in the groove and kind of get her going. Um, I'm Larry,
I'm Alan.
and yeah, this is my longtime friend Alan. So pop in there again, say that again.
I'm Alan, Larry's longtime friend.
Give us a nice little wave. You're supposed to say something when you wave, or you don't come on the camera.
Oh, howdy.
Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, so we're not going to be going through and giving long biographies and that kind of stuff. We won't be doing that every show. The ridesdoneright.com website contains our biographies that talks about who we are, what our background is. It's going to give the listing of topics and things that we'll be going through, schedules, all that kind of stuff. We put that on the website so that the show really can focus on the topics and things that we'll be talking about on each show. Now, this show, being the first one, we'll actually be spending a little bit of time in the show talking about kind of what is Rides Done Right, what are we kind of going for here, so you can kind of expect what we're doing. But we're also going to get into what tonight's topic is about, so we can get into a little bit of the meat and actually give you a taste of what the shows are actually meant to do, and what we're going for. So we'll have that going for us. Uh, Basically, we're going to do the general layout and kind of give you the ground rules of what what we're here to do, and we've got really three present. Rides and Right has three areas that make up what we're trying to do, and that is we have a YouTube channel, which is the basis that we're trying to put out and be able to broadcast to you, which is what you're looking at now. We have a Facebook page that lets you guys post your pictures and do the things that are going to let us interface with what we're talking about, which is motorized stuff, motorcycles, cars, our gadgets, fun stuff. We have Google Plus page, and then the website basically is ridesdoneright.com, which is to put all that stuff together so that you can kind of have the foundation to where's the links to show you where we have what we're doing, and those are the three areas to kind of go. What we need you to do is we need you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, to like things when you see them, to leave positive comments, because if we can get the community together and get people to follow us and like what it is that you see that we're doing, then we can get people to come and kind of participate. And really, here's what we're about. It's wintertime. There's not a lot of stuff going on in TV and the things that we're into. That what are we going to do? Summer's over. We're kind of stuck in the house. we've got our projects that we're getting ready to do to get us ready for play toys and stuff that we'll go out and go do in the summer. And so what normally happens is we'll get on the phone on the weekends and we'll start yapping about what are we doing, what do we got going, what are we working on. So I would have got on the phone with Alan and said, hey, what are you doing with this, what are you doing with that, uh, and we decided, hey, we were going to have those conversations anyway. Why don't we kind of group those conversations together, and then rather than just us talk about them, we'll put them up on a website and we'll talk about them collectively and kind of uh, see what others have to say about them, and maybe we can get people involved that we'll want to hear from. So this is the forum that kind of does it. So that kind of sets the plate for what it is that we're here to talk about. And tonight we're going to talk about decals. So we're talking about something that's going to be fresh tonight. We did kind of a run by of just stuff that we would be talking about. Alan and I got on and we did a practice show about a week ago, and we did it on custom paint, and we easily went over an hour just on that. And so we could have done custom paint tonight, and I thought, well, let's do something on something that we haven't talked about. And Alan, have we said a word about decals to each other?
Not a word about decals. No.
All
Kind
right.
of as a more of a surprise because I thought we were doing paint tonight.
and that was intentional. So the idea was that we would actually get on here and talk about a topic that we haven't even spoke about, to get you know real feedback, find out kind of what we're thinking, what's your opinion on them, and kind of where we at, and kind of see where it goes. So that's what we're gonna do. We'll look at some photos. I actually have a lot of experience with decals, so I'm talking about a topic that I've got a lot of experience with. So without further ado, I'm gonna get into some pictorial history of my uh, stuff with decals. Now, most of us have had some kind of history with decals, starting with like models when we were kids. Alan, did you have models when you were a kid?
Hundreds,
Hundred,
hundreds of models.
hundreds of models. Now that's kind of bold, because when I was a kid, for every birthday, I would ask for models. Every birthday, I wanted to like get what would I want? It was, Mom, as many models as I can have. That's all I want. Christmas, all I want is models. So I would get stacks of models.
Yep. Yeah, and I hundreds probably way over the top, but I had many models, and yeah, birthdays, Christmas, always had models that I wanted. If I got money, I'd go down and buy models, put them together. I had multiple shelves in my room that were built specifically to put my models on. So yeah, a lot of models.
Now that's
Motorcycle models, vans, pickups, cars. Yeah, you name it. I had them. Boats.
pretty funny, because I didn't ask. We've already talked about this and set the ground rules here, and we had not talked about that, so I didn't know that about you. So we both share that, and I'm cutting to the chase. This is pretty funny. My favorite part about those model kits was I could not wait to get those stupid things put together so I could cut out the decal sheets and put on the decals. I don't know what it was. I could not wait to get those decal sheets cut out.
Well, the decals is what made them bling and made them cool. Otherwise they were just plain white or plain orange or whatever.
Yeah, I did a pretty crappy job on the assembly, but man, did I spend the time on putting those decals on. So that whole history as a kid doing that, and then to say that I went way overboard on every bicycle and everything that had wheels when I was a kid. Man, my three wheelers, everything I had, I would go down to the Honda shop and I would buy like every decal they had and any free thing I could get. And if there was a decal in a Cheerios box, it was on everything I had. I mean, I was decal crazy.
Yeah, but you had to have the right decals. It had to be the cool Fox stickers, or had the O'Neill stickers, or something of that.
Well, I got to say that for me at first, I can't say I was decals done right. I was very much just get the decals and get them on there. It was like the more the better. I think, it kind of harkened back to the days of, early funny cars and like NASCAR. You would always see that down on the lower fenders, it was all about quantity. There was a whole bunch of them and you couldn't tell what they said. It was just a lot.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you always had that part where you just had to glom on a whole bunch of them. So, uh, and then it's kind of weird, over time you do that, and then you get to these phases in life where you went from that to just absolutely no decals. I mean, I actually abhorred them. You got to a point where everything that you had, you were out there with your heat gun peeling every single decal off because you didn't want any decals on anything.
Yeah.
Did you enter that stage too, where nothing could have a decal on it?
Oh yeah, the clean look.
Yeah,
Yeah, except for what was supposed to be on there. No,
right,
no extra decals. Yeah.
right. Okay, so we've kind of gone through the one end to the other. So now I'll actually I kind of so I've laid out the photos of cars and bikes and stuff that I've had. So I'm gonna do some little screen sharing here and all right. So we got that up. Do you see it?
Oh yeah.
All right. So first Corvette I got clean Corvette. No decals anywhere on it, but I am about having a look that is different than other people's cars. And so one thing I wanted to have that was different, again, a lot of people are going to say, well, why would you stick that on a Corvette of all things? But I just wanted something that was different, so I went for the old, okay, I'll put it on the window. So I went with my window decal. Then my second Corvette, I decided to be a little more mature about it. And I still went for it. I still had one on there, but it was a little more subtle.
It's kind of faded in, faded. I don't know how to describe that, but yeah, faded in there a little bit into that the sunshade part of that window across the top.
Yeah, I mean, if I could have just gone for the old clear etched look or something, I think I might have gone for that. But I wasn't mature enough yet to just say, no, I don't want one. Again, it was still that car. I wanted it to be different than the other guys that had them out there. So, I wanted something. So that's kind
Yeah,
of what I did.
that's cool.
When I went with the Mini Cooper, I wanted the same thing. I wanted something that was different than everybody else's. So I actually went with I got a Mini Cooper S that didn't have any stripes on it, so that I could have mine different than other guys were doing. So this was something that we did. You see, I went all the way down on the front too, which you talk about being different. I went all the way on that guy.
Yeah, put it down on the spoiler, that front air dam there.
Yeah. The trick was on the back, going down and through this little back area here. Now, I don't want anybody to think that I did this decal job myself. I hooked up with Joe, my decal guy, when I think it was, or I know it was prior to doing this car. He was doing some of my stuff on one of my bikes, and so when I got this car, I thought, well, I know he's done stuff on my bikes, and so we'll have him do this, and this is one of the places that I learned that, man, I don't know that I'm ever going to lay another decal on anything myself, because I could have never done what I saw him do, on this. And once you actually see somebody who actually knows what they're doing with decals, I don't see myself doing anything with decals the rest of my life. When you see somebody who actually knows what they're doing, um, I don't see doing that again. Now, anybody who's seen the only rides done right video that I've really put out, where I actually kind of did a modification, people that have been following me on my other uh, web stuff, my Project Diavel for my Ducati. I'm now that I've got rides done right, I'm doing all my videos are going to be done through rides done right, including motorcycles and all that. So this was the first kind of, I don't want to say instructional, but one that I did of, hey, I did some mods to something. So it was the Equinox, and I wanted to do something different with a normal, everybody's, gone out and got an Equinox. What do you do? Well, I wheeled and tired it, and so this was kind of bold to do decals on an Equinox, and I did the had him do the decal on the side and then that, and they don't make like a sport edition Equinox, but I wanted to make something look sporty, so this is kind of what we came up with.
Yep, that
This,
does look sporty. And just if I can cut in here a minute, the window, the Equinox across the window there.
yeah.
My first comp boat, inboard ski boat that I got was a Malibu. It was a '92, and I bought it new, and it was red. And I wish I had a picture, but I do not have a picture ready to go right now. But it on the front windshield, I did that same thing, and I put a white Malibu across the front.
Oh, cool. So, and did you go with did you find an actual Malibu letter decal, or did you come up with something, or how'd that go?
I actually called Malibu, and I think maybe I still have the original brochure of that model year that when I bought it, because I did my research and stuff, and actually had a buddy that owned a Malibu, and I called him and asked him about Malibus before I bought the boat. But anyway, I called Malibu, and in one of the brochures they had that sticker on the window on the front windshield. So I called Malibu and said, "Hey, this is the boat I have. I just bought it, and in the brochure it has this white Malibu sticker across the windshield. I would like to put that on my boat. Do you guys have that, or?" And so they sent me one, and I stuck it on there myself.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Now I didn't I didn't do on this one. I looked all over the internet, couldn't find one, and just got in Photoshop and went with the letters until I found something that I liked. Squeezed the living crap out of that to get it a font that I actually thought looked sporty and cool, and then came up with that. But uh, I better start flying through these decals. These are all stuff that the FZ1R, that these are all decals that I came up with to do my own thing. It was funny when I came up with this scheme. This I remember somebody seeing me and saying, man, I didn't know Yamaha made an FZ1R, and that is always flattering. If somebody sees something that you have and they think that it looks factory, that it came that way, that's always what you're shooting for. Is if the factory made something, could it have looked like that one, from the factory? That's what I'm trying to go for. So
oh yeah, and those do look factory. And so, did you sketch those out or do them on your computer and then
yeah,
take them
yeah,
down?
I did it in Photoshop, and then took them to Joe, and then he did them, and then these I did. I mean, I put on myself because they're small and they were easy to put on. But and then this kind of brings up something I was going to bring up as well. Is I always put my decals on wet, and that way you never like are stuck in one spot. You'll always be able to move them to the location that you need to, and then when they dry, you'll always get them in the spot that you need them to go.
Yeah. So, do you do the spray bottle with the soapy
Yeah.
water, and then get them where you want them, and then take something and kind of squeegee them off to
Yep.
get the water out, and then just let them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right. I'll go spray with the soapy water, and then even though you have to baby the living crap out of them, I'll do that just to make sure that and it can be real painful. But in the case of these, where the YZF and the R1 that are sideways there, if I wouldn't have done that, they would. Who knows? I would have missed them by even millimeters wouldn't have looked right, and they needed to be right spot on those angles, or they would have looked stupid. So
Yeah.
and that's a racing body kit on that bike, so I wanted to make sure they were kind of right spot on. All of those on that whole, even the bottom Yamaha with the decal and then the numbers, I wanted them to be right spot on.
Did you
Um,
lay those down yourself?
Yeah, those I just had him make, and then I put him on.
Mhm.
I want to say some of those I sprayed clear coat over the top of afterwards. This one was a kit, and also I was showing here was one of the things that is kind of cool. This is one of those Chinese kits that you buy, and they throw the sticker kit on, and then they clear coat over them, and they do look really good. I mean, it's something that quality wise actually is pretty good. This is a hard picture for me to look at because this bike looked so cool the day before, and then one day later, yikers, bad memory. And then at least it goes from that to a good news thing. So anybody who saw the Project Diablo stuff, I think you said you hadn't seen this bike yet.
Not in person. Seen lots of
Yes.
pictures, but not in person. Yes.
Yes, so we'll remedy that soon. But yeah, there's a lot of time in bike, and this is something that we're gonna have to scoot through this segment, and we're gonna blow past the half hour. But this really, when it comes to decals, to me, it kind of it, it really justifies for me, in my opinion, where I think decals have got. When you can take, roughly $25,000 worth of motorcycle and put decals on it and not really take away from the bike, I think it starts talking about where decals have got. I mean, and again, this really comes down. A lot of people would say, "Well, yeah, I look at that and I think it looks like crap. I'd be peeling them, off." But it really comes down to taste. You either like decals or you don't, and I think I got away with it on that bike.
Oh yeah. I mean, when they're tastefully done, I mean, they look like paint. To where it just adds to the bike and makes it look, however you want it to look, whatever look you're going for.
Yeah. The one thing I do have to say about this too is this is another thing that I have to point out. The installation on this is not something your average guy is going to get away with. If you were to order these decals off of the internet and you ordered one set, you would cream them. If you put it on yourself, you would wind up throwing away one of your sets because the rim is not flat. It actually rounds around from the outer part of the rim. I don't know if you can see my mouse here as I'm doing the pointer.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
They
but it
look
rounds
tapered.
on the,
Yeah.
yeah, it rounds on the outside and then it rounds on the inside. So it's concave as it comes out here. And
Mm-hmm.
then obviously the rim does its thing here. So it's got two different curves to it. And when you lay that thing down, the decal wants to do funny things. So the putting it down really hard. Not to mention when you design that decal, it has to be designed to lay that direction. So we actually had to design the decals to do what they did. So if I were actually to make the decals and we're gonna actually mass produce them, I would always recommend that somebody, if they were going to buy them in a set, that you'd want to order two or three sets of them for you know just messing them up and making sure that you had enough to replace them. So I always thought, if I was going to tell Joe, hey Joe, if you were ever going to sell these stickers to the public, which by the way you wouldn't, because they were copyright. You don't copyright or sell anything that says Ducati on them. You'd have to do something different. But if you were going to, you'd have to sell them for something like a lot, enough money to where the guy would be buying three sets of them, and uh, that way when he messed them up, these fronts were a nightmare. Just a lot smaller wheel. Close
Oh
up of the
yeah.
tank. Yeah, and then the back mirrored stuff. There's the guy himself. We actually put them. I don't know if you ever saw pictures of the trailer. This is when I was getting it ready to go up at the Oregon Motorcycle Expo. Um, had
Yeah,
him.
that turned out great.
Yeah, and then this was up at the show. Had both of the bikes there and put the old rail thing there. I don't know if you saw the signs that we made up and stuff like that. It actually got the best display up there too, so it was pretty cool. It was a neat show. Oh, and I don't know if you can't really see this. It looks like the monitor is standing on the fender, but it's not. It's actually on a swivel, hanging off the trailer. But the I had videos running the whole time we were up there on the show. So the video for the Project Diablo movie that we did was on there, and then all the other videos we did.
Yeah, that's cool, and it does look like it's sitting on the fender.
Then this is something too that we did decals for the helmet. I don't know if you saw. Have you seen this helmet?
Nope.
This is that the AGV Motocorsa helmet. It's one notch down from the one that Valentino Rossi wears.
Nice.
So, and it is an awesome helmet. I wore this thing 3 days in Washington this summer, and absolutely love it. I did not wear it to California, and even over the Carbon Race helmet that I wore, the Bell Carbon Race, which is super super light, and I wore it for 3 days in California. I absolutely, and I love that helmet. I totally would have preferred to have wore this helmet over that helmet, except that this helmet doesn't quite have the adjustability because it's a pure race helmet,
Mm-hmm.
so it doesn't quite adjust. And it would have been a pain to have switched my shields over, and I have one of those transition shields that they make for that Bell Carbon Race, so it really works nice if you know you're going to be long days and get caught in the dark. That transition shield's pretty awesome. So
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah.
anyway, that's the history for decals.
Oh,
So
cool. And
jury's out on where and when you do decals on cars and things, but there are definitely advantages to do in decals. They're cheaper than paint. They're fast. You can get them done quick. You have the option of being able to do them yourself. You can order them. Uh, you can find stuff online that's done. The competition's out there. You can find stuff online, but you can also find people local. And when you have options to find people local, like my guy, who's actually real affordable, you find people in your area that can do stuff and then come out and do it to your vehicle. I say that's a great way to do it. So I would recommend it all day. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to put links to the guy that I use off of some of my stuff just for people to be able to get a hold of him here, especially locally to use him, because I know he's got good rates and things too. But got anything more on the subject?
actually, and I don't have any pictures or photos, but they've started doing full wraps for snowmobiles, and they are cool. I mean, you can get them any color, they're just really trick to customize a sled, the new sleds.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So, I
yeah.
mean,
I was gonna say the same guy I've been talking about is actually getting into wraps. So yeah, I mean wraps are that is it's another topic, and it is one of the things I think that's really cool. I know that their wraps are pretty expensive, so I mean people that are doing them, you kind of got to dig pretty deep to do it.
yeah, I'm sure they're not cheap, but yeah, but they're cool. I mean, if you definitely want to customize, I mean, just not like put a sticker here or there to be different in your buddy. I mean, it's a full on. I mean, a lot of the wraps when they get done, you got to really look close to see what make a sled it is, because all all the logos, a lot of the logos go away, so it's just the color of the wraps and whatever design they put on them to customize them. So then I'm looking at YouTube videos of guys that are flying through the snow, and I'm like, dang, what sled's he riding? Because he's got it all tricked out in the wrap.
Yeah, I think they look great. As a matter of fact, if I had the deep pockets to do it, I'd be Mr. Skin Man because I think they look pretty cool, and especially into being into Photoshop, man, I'd be designing some slick, nasty stuff and go to town with it.
Yep.
I was going to make sure to remind people that even though we'll be going out the air, that we're given the venue here that continue the discussion for this stuff. Attach your discussions on this video here on YouTube, or you can go to our Facebook page on Rides and Ride on Facebook and attach your photos for decals and things, and open up the discussion there. And like I said, go ahead and continue on with the discussion with that. Check out the topics that we have on the continued shows that are coming, because I've actually posted those out on the rides.com website. We actually were going through those earlier tonight, and I've got the next couple of months posted out there. We're looking at doing some guests where we'll actually bring some vendors in to talk about some things that they've got coming up for summer and projects and things. We'll see how that goes. And we're doing some potential 1-hour shows, so we'll see how that stuff goes. We've already seen that it's pretty easy to get an hour, actually pretty hard to get a half an hour. Think we can get some punctuality going here in the future, but we are going to run into little glitches, and apologize for the thing with tonight, but I think it's expected as we kind of learn how we're doing with this. We did see too tonight that we had a problem with questions and answers, and that is a feature that we're going to keep looking into, and hopefully we're going to be able to get this to where you guys can do questions and answers as we're going. We had hoped that we were going to be able to get to do that tonight, and we saw that we were not able to do that. So we apologize for that. Look for that in the future, and I hope that you guys are able to join us live and we're able to interact with you guys in the future. That's really something that we're pushing for, and we're hoping that we're going to be able to do that with you. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Good night, Larry.
Good night. Thanks.
You betcha.